What is going on, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be continuing our search for Bigfoot. I'm back here at the gifting tree, as you can see right here behind me. Now, what I want to do in this episode is I want to kind of venture around this area. This is the spot that we did a bunch of investigating last year, caught a bunch of vocalization, left some stuff at the gifting tree. It was taken. We've been finding a whole bunch of crazy signs back here lately. So that's what I want to do. I want to go ahead and explore this area. We might end up at the creek. I'm not sure yet. Now, what I really wanted to do tonight, guys, was leave out a voice recorder and everything, but I accidentally misplaced my voice recorder. I have no idea where it's at. So I ordered another one, and I also got some other things coming that's going to help us with these Bigfoot episodes. So we're going to be doing that in the next episode. This episode is going to be all about just looking for signs and stuff and seeing what all we can discover. So if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to hit that like button. Without any further ado, let's get right into searching for Bigfoot. Alright guys, so here's the gifting tree right here. And actually, last year, we had some rocks left. The rocks are still here. Look at this. They're off the tree now. Here's one. There's another rock right there. And they were sitting in like a triangle, like a pyramid figure. And a lot of you guys said that could potentially be Bigfoot leaving me a gift, considering all the things I left here. But as you can see right here, this was one of the big signs that we found last year, was this snap in this tree right here beside the gifting tree. That was snapped over. That one's coming straight up out the ground. So let's go ahead and walk back here. Now, this is where the creek starts right before it opens up and it gets really big. I'm not sure if we're going to make it that far back in today's video, but we'll definitely be exploring that area in the next episode. But see, these little soft spots right here is what you really got to take your time and pay attention to, because you'll find tracks and try to get a general idea of where they've been crossing at. It's like these creatures are very smart. They don't leave but maybe 1 foot track. Now look at that. There's an indention right there. That's a pretty big indention right there. That could potentially be an old track. You see how wide it is? It starts right here, it goes up, and it kind of curves out. That kind of looks like a hill. And I mean, it's impressed into the ground. If I put my foot near it, yeah, and I'm a size 11, guys. I mean, you can see how massive that track potentially is. Now, I'm not saying that's an actual track, but if it is, that's an old one. I mean, it would make sense because it's going right down this little creek line and up at this little point where we were finding a bunch of potential shelters and stuff. So let's go ahead, walk up this hill, and let's see if there's any new signs for this year. And have a look at this. This looks new. Look how this is broken. This is broken right here, and X marks the spot. They're both broken, and they're just kind of, you can see how it's snapped at the base right there. It's kind of intertwined with that holly tree. It's like wrapped around the holly tree, and it makes a big old X right here. That's pretty wild looking. Look at that. Wow. Now, once again, I'm not sure if these are actually markers or potential shelters of where they want to build a shelter, or maybe it's just a travel point. But if you come on up here, look, see, you can see how it's woven into this holly tree. Pretty crazy. I mean, you can definitely tell something big has been coming through here. There's tracks galore. Now, this is old. This is from last year. Got that bend. Got these massive bends right here in these trees. That looks somewhat fresh, and look how it's tucked. This big old arch right here, you see that? The tip of this tree has literally been tucked under there. That's pretty weird. And look, there's another travel point. You can see the trail going right on back up through there. That's the opposite way of the creek. Pretty interesting. Like I said, if you really know what you're looking for and you're walking around back here, you'll see a ton of sign. You know, some stuff is older from last year, and a lot of stuff is newer from this year, which tells me that they're definitely coming back through here, and this is a very heavy travel point for these creatures. Now, what I believe is that there could possibly be a whole family of them back here. We know there's at least one or two of them. Look at this one. This is an older bend. It's an older arch in a tree right there. And look how it's just bent straight over. That's pretty wild looking. It's been tucked in between this. If you can see, this was an old tree. And look how it's just tucked into that fork. It's pretty wild. It's like it's to keep it, you know, arched over. Pretty cool stuff, man. And once again, all these signs are right on this trail. It's right on this travel point for these creatures. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to do any night investigating in this one, in this episode, but we're definitely going to be doing that in the next one. Like I said, I want to leave out a voice recorder. We might bring something and leave it at the gifting tree. I'm thinking about maybe going to the creek, catching us a fish like we did last year and leaving it on the gifting tree. Guys, let me know down in the comments if that's a good idea, or if you have any suggestions of things that I could leave at the gifting tree for the next episode. Make sure you put it in the comments and let me know what you guys are thinking. So I'm going to keep on walking down this travel point, and I'm going to continue to look for some fresh signs. Now take a look at this, guys. This was an older sign from last year, and as you can see, the hollies on these trees are still green, so that's telling me that this tree is not completely dead. But look at the massive bend in this thing. I mean, I'm going to give y'all a good look at this, and you tell me, how the hell is this tree not dead? Look at that. Yeah, that thing has been twisted and ripped and split, and somehow or another, as you can see, there's still green leaves on this thing. It's still alive. That's pretty wild. Here's some fresh signs over here. It's like we got a tree that's literally been ripped out of the ground and thrown. That's a pretty good sized tree. Oh wow, look at this, guys. This is crazy looking. Look how this thing is arched over and twisted. Wow, look at that. It's crisscrossed. It's been crisscrossed and twisted all together. And it's pointing that way. That's the way to the creek. Right down here, right down there in that little dip right there where I'm pointing, that's the creek right there. And it's pointing straight back to the big part of the creek. That's very, very interesting. And a lot of these signs, oh wow, look at this. A lot of these signs are pointing in the direction of the creek. Look at that. Look at this big old arch. That's been snapped. That's new. You can see that's a fresh snap. This massive arch right here. All three of these trees have been bent over and twisted and woven together. And it's pointing to that tree, and that tree is pointing straight to the creek. As y'all can see, I'm going to walk straight there so y'all can see that these signs are pointing right to water. Here we are. It's pointing right to the creek right here, guys. Look at that. And it goes straight on back through there. So let's follow this creek line. Look, there's more arches back here. More arches. And I want to clear something up for you guys. I've been getting a lot of comments here lately, whether it's on Facebook or wherever. You guys see a thumbnail of me holding a gun, and the title is Hunting Bigfoot. I want to make this perfectly clear, okay? I'm not out here trying to kill these animals or shoot these animals. I would never even pull my weapon out unless I was potentially at threat for my life. But yes, I always keep my weapon on me, especially when I'm doing these type of adventures, because guys, I'm back in the middle of the woods. You never know what could come up to you, you know. But yeah, I just wanted to clear that up because I get some ridiculous comments sometimes about just leave the creatures alone, this, that, and the third. I'm not trying to bother them, you know. I'm not out here trying to harm them or anything like that. All I'm doing is documenting what I see, you know, and trying to learn more about these creatures and why they're actually here, you know. If we can catch one on camera, that's awesome. But if you have seen my older videos, which a lot of you guys know this, especially my regulars that watch the channel all the time, I've built some type of connection with these creatures where it seems like they're starting to trust me to a point, you know, especially when they're discovering things at the gifting tree. They're taking it, they're bringing rocks back as if they're leaving me a gift. So it's all about love here, man. But yeah, that's my little rant. I just wanted to clear that up. Oh wow, look at that. That's a pretty big snap in a tree. We're gonna walk up this hill and look at the sign that I just saw. But all I'm doing is walking down this creek, and look, came right here. That's another arch in the tree right here. Look at that. I mean, that's bending directly over the creek right here. That's pretty freaking cool. That kind of looks like a structure almost. You see that, guys? You see how that big tree is in between that one? This one's laid up against this one, and it's kind of twisted into the smaller one that's going up through here. Let's walk over here and look at this. And then we're going to walk up here on this hill and look at this massive break I just seen in a tree. Wow, that's pretty. That's been ripped out the ground, man. That does not belong here. Wow. See, and what I was saying is this could potentially be shelters for the babies, you know? Or maybe they just never finished building them. Now, we did find a pretty impressive shelter back towards the bigger part of the creek last year. But I want to take you guys up here and look at this tree. I don't know if this is an old sign or a new sign because I've never seen it before back here. But plus, I've never been this far back neither. So, oh wow, look at this. Here's a big old arch. Look at that. Look at that arch. And once again, that's another one pointing directly in the path of the creek. Look at this. This is what I saw up here on the hill. That's been twisted. You can tell it's been twisted. Look at that. It's been twisted and ripped. Just laid over. Wow. Hasn't been struck by lightning or nothing. That's pretty cool. It's just laid over on that holly. And that holly's, oh wow, the holly's tucked underneath it. I just seen that. Look at that arch. It's all the way down. And the holly is literally tucked underneath this big tree right here. Pretty freaking cool. And once again, it's another main trail. As y'all can see, it opens up. It's a pretty big trail, and it's going right in a direction along this creek line. It's another big old snap in a tree. It's just kind of laid over right here. I mean, that snap is every bit of 8 feet. And that's what I've noticed. A lot of these trees, the snaps are 8 feet. If you look right here, I know there's a glare from the sun, but if you look, you can tell how it's been twisted and pulled over. Look at that. It's just laid over right here. Pretty crazy stuff, man. Alright guys, I just walked back down the creek a little ways. I didn't see too many more signs back there. Nothing that would, you know, that wasn't from natural causes or anything like that. But I'm walking back up the creek the other way. I know of a water hole over there. I want to check out that area, but it seems like the majority of the signs that I did find on this piece of property is pretty much at the spot that we were just at that I showed all you guys. So I'm gonna go head upstream, check out that little spot, see if there's anything there, and we'll just go from there. So you guys stay tuned. All right, guys, I just found something pretty freaking cool. So this is a trail right here, right straight behind me. You can probably see the trail right here where we just seen all those signs and stuff. I'm going back upstream through the creek, and take a look at this. You can see right here where something walked. You can see this big indention. I don't know how well the camera's picking it up, but it starts right there and it goes around right through there. And then look at this. Look at that. I don't know how well you can see it, but it kind of goes out like this and it curves in right there. It kind of looks like something stopped, something big stopped right here and shuffled their feet. If I gently pick up these leaves, oh yeah, look at that. I'm just going to gently pick up these leaves and look at this. Look at the indentation from right there. It goes straight around, comes around, and goes right back through there. This is my hand inside of this indentation. That's a massive foot track, and that's new. Look, there's my foot up against it. See how much bigger that thing is? How much wider it is? That's pretty freaking crazy. Look at that. From right there to right there. All of that is a big old track. And it's going right down this creek line. You can see it. It's going right through there. And that's the way to the gifting tree. Actually, the gifting tree is about 60 yards from me right now. It's about right up in there. It's pretty wild stuff. Something, you know, worth noting. Yeah, you can tell something has came through here. You can see the leaves all scuffed up. Something walked straight through here. And this is really good habitat for them. I mean, you got all this thick cover. You got water. Bunch of deer and squirrels and stuff for them to eat. I don't know if they eat like plants and stuff. Look, this is an old sign. It's another tree that's been twisted right on this trail. See? That thing has literally been twisted this way. Been twisted this way. It's just laid over. Once again, this end, it's pointing right down there. It's pointing right down there at that creek. Here's the creek right here, guys. I'm gonna walk down this hill. Here it is. Here's the water. Some pretty wild stuff, man. So yeah, I'm really starting to think there's a whole family of them back here. I do believe them babies are still here. The mama's probably still here. And seems to me that she's pretty massive, you know. I'm finding breaks 8-9 feet tall. There's probably another male back here. I don't know. There's definitely a family of them back here, you know, in my personal opinion. From the amount of signs that I've seen, you know, the amount of audio that we caught last year alone, you know, it's pretty crazy. So I'm just going to continue to walk upstream here and see if we can't find anything else. Alright guys, I've been walking up the creek and I got all the way up here to this water hole. I just found something really, really cool, so check this out. So as y'all can see, the creek and the water hole right here, but look what I just found up against it. This is a freaking deer, guys. Look, you got deer bones, you got pieces of deer. This did not happen too long ago. I mean, look at that. That's a bunch of fur right there. Oh wow, look at this. You got bones. The head is gone and the whole rest of the deer is gone. That's the only thing that's here that I can find is these bones and this little bit of deer. I told you guys, they have been snacking on these deer. That looks like a small one too, which would be very easy for a Bigfoot to catch. Just like last year where we found the deer leg and nothing else. This year, which is kind of close to the same area, found this little bit of deer, them two bones. That's a bone, that's a bone. And right here, some bones. That looks kind of like ribs. Yeah, I mean, they're just picked clean, man. I mean, it didn't happen too long ago. That right there is really freaking cool, man. They're definitely traveling through this area. They're feeding on deer. You know, they're probably feeding on birds and squirrels and stuff like that. That's absolutely amazing. What gets me though is where's the rest of the deer? You know, there's no head here, there's no legs, there's really nothing. It's just this little bit of bone that's left. I mean, are they eating the bones and all? I don't know, guys. Have you heard reports about that? Let me know down in the comments. But some pretty amazing stuff to say the least. All right, you guys, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up the video here. Like I said, we're not going to do any nighttime investigation right now. I'm still waiting for a voice recorder to come in and another item that is really going to help us with these Bigfoot investigations. But stay tuned, folks, because in the next Bigfoot episode, we are going to be heading to the big part of the creek. I want to investigate that whole spot. We're going to be setting up for a nighttime investigation, and we're also going to be leaving something at the gifting tree along with a voice recorder to see if we can capture any more audio. What I want you guys to do is sound off in the comments down below. Let me know what I should leave at the gifting tree. Should we do that idea that I was talking about earlier about going to the creek and actually catching us a fish or attempting to catch a fish and leaving the fresh fish at the gifting tree? Let me know, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, please go ahead and smash that like button. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure your post notifications are on so you know every single time I upload. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. We are going to keep squatching, and I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Peace.